Greetings, adventurers, and welcome to Double Advantage, a D&D show where half of us have no idea what's going on at any given moment. It's complete and utter chaos, but guess what? We love it. I'm your Dungeon Master John, and along with me, like always, are my beautiful friends, so let's get them introduced, starting with the one and only Mr. Blazing Torchic.
Hello everybody, my name is Blazing Torchic, and in this lovely campaign, I play Malon Sarkador, the Wood Elf Rogue. My character summons these Psychic Knives, really cool, very sneaky, except for when it matters, and has a cool new helmet which loves to shoot blasts, which have not really done much so far, but it's a cool helmet.
I think the only thing you've hit with it was a zombie.
I've hit things, but it's either killed it instantly or they passed the saving
That's
throw.
true, because yeah, you hit a zombie.
And a chair.
You hit... Did you use it on Skald or Volstagg last time?
I hit a chair.
You hit a Oh, you did hit a chair. I remember that. Well, that was the first time. That was the first time. But go ahead, check out all the shenanigans. It's been a doozy of a time these last couple of episodes as things have just kind of settled down for the first time in a little bit. So go check those out. But up next, we got BryceKrispie.
What's up, everybody? BryceKrispie here. I play Volstagg the Forgotten, the half-orc druid. You can catch me wild shaping into all sorts of critters and creatures in the campaign.
Hell yeah, go check all his stuff down below. There's a one-shot coming soon, so go check out his channel. All his painting videos and such. His mystery openings, those are all a good time. So go check
paint
out.
rocks.
Paint phallic-looking rocks that get that out. It kind of looks like a Twix bar a little bit. You know what I mean? Texture-wise, it doesn't matter. And last but certainly not least, Datsunami.
Hey, yo, what is going on, you guys? Yeah, you know, it's me, Skald, the cleric of the group, loving to keep these boys healthy, but also trying to be the moral compass as much as I can, trying to get this team cohesive, keep us on firing on all cylinders.
Which I think was an excellent example of the last episode, so you guys should definitely go check that out. Definitely a test of skill, battle of wits, and hiding in trees for a majority of the time. But listen, I get to talk my shit, okay? Okay, all right, cool. Let's fucking go. That scared the shit out of me, and I'm not even there. But last but certainly not least, before we get started, shout out to the artists of the show, Renny, Texas, Mitch Ninja, and Carl Uber. Without any of them, none of this would be possible, so go support them down below. Anything else before we get started?
Oh, I'm good.
All right, let's just
Seems
get into
like
it.
on dark mode.
Dark mode, Sakado edition. All right. In the last episode, the Lightbreakers decided to take some time after meeting with Poe in the Pleasant Greens funeral home and getting rid of all there was to deal with Madame Yvette, Skald obtaining a new item. They took some downtime. They have about 2 weeks, and halfway through decided that some team-building, bonding exercises were needed, and a battle of wits, a trial of teamwork, a test of their skills together ended up in Sakado beating the shit out of everybody, and Volstagg losing pretty quickly, but being proud that he is the biggest threat in the team. But you guys currently are hobbling back on cart, on horse, back to the city of Snowcaster. As you guys wheel in through the front gates, you get a couple of weird looks from the Thorn Guards as the three of you left, and about 10 minutes later came back beaten as shit. They all give you this weird half-eye cocked, like, questioning look as to what the hell did they manage to get themselves into in 10 minutes. But you stroll in and eventually make your way back to the city proper. So, what would you like to do for this second week, as there is still some downtime set in place? We can go one by one. Whoever wants to go first, if you have something specific you'd like to do, we can run through that. Just let me know, and we can get it going.
I have a couple things. First up, I want to take the poison I got from the corpse flower.
Okay.
To, I can't think of his name.
Willigen?
No, not Willigen, the apothecary.
The Woodvines.
Woodvines, yes.
Yes, Mr. and Mrs. Woodvine. Yes. You go ahead. I will say that this is these are taking place at random intervals within the week, which at the end of it all, it'll be the 11th of Valoteg, which there are definitely certain things that we'll have to discuss too along the way through there, but it'll be good. So we'll say that this happens at some interval during that time. You go ahead, asking around and just kind of looking about. You do remember that Mr. Woodvine was detailing how they were in the middle of restarting their apothecary business. Somewhere, I think they had told you by where the library that Sakato checked that book was, kind of in the center, like hub area of the lowest district, which I believe is the Allurium district. And kind of in that little area, you're kind of walking around. And about 2 blocks down past the library, you can see that there is currently this building that still has windows boarded up with wood, but there is currently a sign at the top. Looks makeshift, placeholdery. It does say the Refinery, which reminds you of the wood vines in a nice little play on refinery. So the Refinery, you go ahead. The windows are boarded up, but there doesn't seem to be a lock on the door.
All right, I'll walk up and knock on it.
Okay.
See if anybody answers.
Briefly knock on it. It opens up and you see standing there Mr. Woodvine, the kind of older gentleman, probably somewhere in his 80s, kind of has these white mutton chops that come down and then turn into kind of a mustache. Kind of has these dark skin spots on his head, kind of jaundiced a little bit. Definitely looks worse for wear for somebody of his age. But kind of has like the hair that like he keeps it on the side, but it's all bald on the top. He looks at you. He says, "It's good to see you, boy. How you doing? How you holding up?"
Oh, been better, but also been worse. We had a run-in with a very strange monster in the cemetery not long ago.
Wow, that's some.
I have some of its poison here, and I'll hand him the vial of.
Oh, he takes it in his hand. Well, thank you kindly. That's very nice of you. Well, come in. Come in. We can make you some tea or something. Sit down.
Thank you, but I don't have to do that. I just came to drop this off. I didn't know if it would be useful for you, or maybe if you could help me identify the creature, even.
Sure.
All I know is it smelled and it was mean.
Smelled mean? Well, it's a lot of plants nowadays trying to kill crops and whatnot. Yeah, give me a minute here. You sit down. I'll go get some of the books that I have in the back and see if maybe I can muster up something that give you a better answer. But we can definitely use this. Probably take some of it, reverse engineer, and maybe find like a healing agent out of it. Kind of take some of the better parts of something bad and make it good. So yeah, I'll be right back. He goes ahead and he walks back. The interior, you could see, it looks like it was once a storefront of some kind. There is like a fixture that looks like a cash register, like basically where somebody would stand behind it, take orders. There's shelves all the way around. It looks like this used to be a bar, because the shelves on the back imply bottles of liquor would perfectly fit in certain instances, but you could also see potions as well. It's kind of an odd area. Some of the like furniture in here is currently covered with just like these whitish gray off-white sheets, just to cover them up to keep the dust off them and such. And while you're sitting there, you can see entering from a separate chamber Mrs. Woodvine, the kind of frailer old lady, relatively short for a human, kind of hunched over as well, kind of shaking a little bit as she walks in with a kettle and a cup of tea. She says, "Here you are, sweetheart. Here. Hopefully it's not too hot for you."
Thank you. I hope it's no trouble.
No, of course
Take
not.
it. Sip on it.
She sits down, sips as well. It's always nice to have company, so don't you worry about it. She goes ahead and she just sits down sipping her tea. And eventually, after a couple minutes, Mr. Woodvine walks back in with a stack of books like this high. And he goes ahead and he sits down. And as he places the books on the table, it kind of, all of them just emit some like dust and like kind of floating there in the air. The light that's creaking through the boarded windows and some of the candle light as well. You can just see the particles floating around. He sits down. He's like, "So what did it look like? Was it like more of like a weed or more of like a fruit bearing type of plant?"
More like a weed. It was bulbous almost, large vines that came out, crashed upon us.
All right. He goes ahead and he unclips one book, starts flipping through it. All right. So you said it was in a cemetery.
Yes, I believe it may have been feasting on the corpses there.
You see this concerned look on his face, but it's one, well, especially with your passive perception, there's a tinge of acknowledgement and understanding. He kind of flips through, takes another book, starts flipping through that. And you said it smelled pretty putrid, right?
Yes, it gave off this horrible odor. Almost paralyze you.
Poisonous, yeah?
Possibly. I actually never got hit by it myself.
Alright. Well, the best of my understanding, that sounds pretty similar to what's known as a corpse flower. They typically will feast on undead or not just humanoids, but any variety of undead plants, or not undead, dead plants, dead animals. They it's like a natural instinct to move closer and closer towards the smell of death, so it would make sense that it would reside in a cemetery.
Interesting.
One more time?
Oh, interesting.
Oh, sorry. It cut out.
Very foul creatures.
And you said you didn't take much of a hit from it.
No, my friend Sakado became the punching bag.
It's not very good. They have kind of their poison actually. This, and he holds up the vial. It's got kind of this I'm not sure how to explain it. It locks up the system. Did you notice that every time he was getting pummeled around, he was kind of in like a stunned shock?
Yeah, he really wasn't moving much. We'd get him back for a second, and then he'd just go dark again. It's pretty scary.
That's not good. I'm glad you made it out alive, though. These motherfuckers. They can't even hear it.
I know.
It's different music, too. That's the best part. Yeah, they're not going to hear this music. Only we can hear this, which is the best part. Well, I'm glad you made it out alive. It's always good news.
Yeah, it was
Just for
journey.
there's some hard banjos going.
Oh, yeah. hard banjos. Hard banjos.
Very.
You can see Mrs. Woodvine kind of adjusts her glasses up. They're the ones that are kind of hooked around, and then they just kind of dangle at the neck so she can just kind of pull them up. You guys get yourselves into an awful lot of trouble, it seems. Willow Jin was telling us about all the things. You went to the Underdark. You got yourselves in a predicament down there as well. You guys got to lay low. It's hard out there.
I don't really think laying low is our style. We don't necessarily want trouble, but we also don't want to run away from it.
Well, that's noble of you. Got more pure heart than most people out there. So, just be safe. Don't get yourselves too deep into something you can't handle, you know.
I can't make any promises, but I will be as safe as I can.
Well, I guess that's all that a person could ask. But thank you for the the Arlo here told me that you had given us some of those fungus from the Underdark, and we've been working on some nice stuff from that. So thank you. He said he gave you a gift for that. Yes.
Yes, he did.
Okay, good. If he didn't, I would hit him. But we appreciate the work. It's hard to get a business starting back up again, so we're just trying.
I can imagine so.
Just one step at a time.
Does it look like they have stuff on the shelves, or are they mostly barren still?
You can see that there are a couple of boxes over in the corner, and with your passive perception, you can see that there are various glass containers corked up with various colors of liquids of different textures, and kind of like culminates in like this weird mass of different smells. Not necessarily bad, but just a lot of different smells that kind of make it one weird conglomerate. You can see a couple of different boxes that are stacked up. You can see that over in the corner, the door that Mrs. Woodvine came from is still ajar a little bit. You can see in there, it is kind of like this green room-esque. You see a bunch of light coming through and a bunch of different herbs and plants growing in kind of like a greenhouse-like exterior. It seems like it's like a duel of storefront, home, and like garden all in one to like grow their own stuff. So there's stuff. It's just they're in the process of putting it together.
Well, I thank you for your time and your information you've given me. I should probably be going now. And just to let you know, if I do find any more liquids or exotic plants, I'll be sure to bring them by so you see what you can do with them.
These motherfuckers dancing in the corner.
I know.
I can't.
It's so hard.
It's so hard to roleplay. Imagine if we were all in the same room. I wouldn't be able to do it.
That's why I'm trying to just focus on you.
I'll try to look at you.
Ignore them. It's like
Miss Woodvine. She kind of just gives a nod as she sips her tea. Mr. Woodvine stands up. He says, "Well, I appreciate what you're doing for us. It's very kind of you, and we'll definitely take anything that you can give us. It's always helpful. We'll find a way to use it. But yeah, if you ever need anything, you're always welcome, and your friends as well."
Thank you.
He goes ahead and he stands up. He walks you to the door, gives you a quick nod, and turns around as the door closes. So, is there anything else you'd like to do?
Not there, but I mean, just over the course of the week, I would like to spend some time gathering information from some of the Thornguard about the drugs and those affected.
Okay, go ahead and make just a universal investigation check to see what kind of knowledge you can glean from asking around.
14?
14. Okay. Where exactly and who exactly are you asking?
So I probably would have went to the jail where we were held.
Okay.
And talked to whoever was familiar that I saw there. I don't know if we ever got a name of a guard that arrested us. Or a captain or anything.
You might have, but I don't really remember. I'm just going to be honest with you.
I don't remember either. I'm like...
But there is a familiar lady at the front desk who you do remember being there. She she escorted you to their break room. She's currently there at the front, skimming through what appears to be like this collection of like art pieces in a book, like an art catalog type of thing.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
I'm Volstagg. I don't know that I got your name last time we met. And unfortunately, the circumstances were not so great the last time we met.
Yes, I remember. My name is Julia. Pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure.
What can I do for you?
Well, a little odd, but I do believe myself and my friends need to get into a better light with the Thornguard. So we have talked, and we're interested in volunteering our services to investigate this ongoing drug problem I've been hearing about.
Interesting. We don't get a lot of people offering their services, especially after they've been arrested. Yes, I can get you into contact with somebody. Would you like to do that now, or would you rather me set up something for the future?
If you'd like to set up something, that way I can get my group here.
Sure.
And plus, I don't want to bother them if they have a busy schedule. So, a planned meeting would probably be better.
Okay. How about in a couple of days? Let's say the 11th. How's that sound?
It should work with me. I'm sure it works with them, but if not, I'll just come alone.
Okay. Well, I'll set something up for the 11th. I'll make sure to let the right people know, and you can show up with your crew, and you can discuss with whomever may be interested in this collaboration.
Thank you.
Of course. Anything else?
Who will I be meeting with? Probably ask that so I don't seem rude.
Well, I would assume if it is specifically the drug situation, the Rune situation, yes? That is what you're...
Yes.
You'll probably be talking with the head of the narcotics division, which I believe right now is Detective Rolf Niso. So, I believe unless he sends one of his younger detectives to meet with you, you'll meet with him. I'll make sure to let him know. See. Yes. So, yeah. Anything else?
No, that will be all. Thank you.
Wonderful. Have a great day.
You too. It's a pleasure meeting you.
Pleasure to meet you.
Not the first time, but an actual meet.
A proper one.
Yes.
She kind of smiles. All right. Anything else?
No, I'll probably just spend the rest of the time chilling, waiting on that. Maybe just kind of like walking around on my own time to see if I can see, any place or anybody affected by Rune.
Okay.
I wouldn't approach, but just to see if I can spot maybe where a lot of them might congregate or something of that matter.
Go ahead and make a perception check, since you're kind of looking around. Well, perception or investigation, I'll let you choose, depending on how you want to go about it.
Let's go perception, because that's higher.
Okay.
That is a nat 20
Nat 20.
for 24.
At a first glance, especially before you had even been told about it, you hadn't really seen much of it. It kind of came to a shock when it was even mentioned that it was somewhat of a problem, but now that you're aware of it, you're conscious of it, and you're actively looking for it, it's kind of rampant. And not as blatant, but because of how trained you are in keeping an eye out for things, a survivalist, making sure, checking every corner, there's plenty of odd activity happening in more of the, not the sketchier, but more of the rundown, poorer part of this bottom district. You can see plenty of people kind of congregating in one spot and then like kind of hearing a noise and kind of like rushing off. You can see people, sitting in alleyways, passed out, just completely like overrun. And those people you can see have these very light green rings around their nose as they're just out cold in alleyways. You can see. Do you go out at night as well to check, or is this more of a daytime activity?
Probably just a daytime activity.
Okay, so that's kind of the extent to what you see. Is just, it's not too blatant. You can probably gather that most, if not all, of the actual dealings occur in the nighttime, and only people who are very much hooked are doing it during the day.
The day. Okay.
Or are still passed out from the night before. It's kind of hard to tell in that regard, especially if you're not like actually investigating people and you're just kind of looking from a distance.
Right. Yeah.
But it is occurring. It's not just something that people are talking about that you haven't gotten proof of. You can see it. You've met a couple of people, just walking down the street, in like the middle of the square. you kind of just glance around. You can see people sitting on benches reading books and just taking another glint and just the very, very faintest green line. It's kind of everywhere. And to a normal person's eye, would be almost unable to see it. But actively searching and being as perceptive as you are, you can just pick up these small little things and just how it's kind of almost integrated into the life so much, and that's why you didn't see it before. So. All right. Is that all for you for this leg of the week? All right. Who wants to go next?
I'll be quick with mine this week. I'm just going to start searching for a little bit better armor.
Okay.
That battle kind of really showed me definitely need to start up. But I have the breastplate's not really working much anymore.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So, do I know of any place in town that's like an armory?
Yes.
Or like, you know,
the Molten Menagerie of one Fibric Marblemite would be the best place for you to get anything related to metal. So,
okay.
You, obviously being keen to where he is, you go ahead and stroll on over. It's only a couple of blocks down from where the guild is. You walk over, you can see currently in his sleeveless, aproned, kind of, what's it called? The face shield, I guess it's just called a face shield, to block from the sparks. You can see his arms, muscular, big, but just covered in pop marks of burns just from all the sparks that fly off. He's currently hammering down on what looks to be a shield, or the early stages of what would be a shield. And as he's kind of ching, ting, ting, he kind of lifts up his mask, wipes his brow, and looks over and he sees you. Hey, Scald, how are you doing?
Hey, I was just, we're in town and we just had a bit of a sparring match between each other, and I kind of just realized I've had this breastplate for a very long time. It's pretty much one of my first armors I got. I think it's time to move up a little, to protect myself a little bit more so that I can protect those guys a little bit.
Understandable, right? Okay, so what you looking for? Are you looking to keep it in the realm of a breastplate? Are you looking to keep it in that spectrum? Are you trying to work up?
I was gonna go half plate. If you have half plate, I'm
half plate.
Not exactly sturdy enough to carry any heavy armors, but
right. Okay.
We're sticking with the, strapped on, but more plating around.
All right, half plate. Yeah, we could totally do half plate. Is there anything specific about it? Do you want he kind of looks down. Do you want like an insignia on the chest, or do you just want...
Of course.
I was gonna say.
Maybe something a little bit like this. That's me talking. But the round with the lightning bolt.
All right.
Maybe something a little bit like that.
But like integrate it with the sun, like a sun and a lightning bolt.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
I like that.
That's nice. All right. I could do that for you. Let's see. Kind of pulls out this book. I don't sell a lot of the heavier armors. I usually sell more like chainmail and stuff like that. So forgive me for not knowing the correct pricing on it. He's kind of skimming through. All right. For you, since you've always been so good and you saved my life, how about $550?
$550. That's a very fair price.
It's a hefty chunk of metal, but also you did a fair bit for us.
That is incredibly fair. I will do so. Yes.
Right.
And I'll pull I'll pull out the 5 platinum and 50 gold.
I think 5 platinum.
50 platinum. 50 platinum. Sorry.
Yeah, you got it.
50 platinum and 5 gold.
Got it. He goes ahead. Oh,
50
platinum.
gold.
Don't get a lot of platinum these days. Right. Well, thank you kindly. And actually, you know what? I'm not the best insignia maker, but I do know somebody who's really good at that. So I'll let them know. Have them come over, do a little bit of that. That should be done a couple of days, just to get the finer etching in. So hopefully you don't got anything too crazy going on in the next couple of days.
No, no, we'll be in town, and it would be 30 platinum and then the rest in gold.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's
whatever that.
Whatever
comes down
I had
to.
enough,
Yeah.
but yeah.
You're good. Right. He goes ahead and he pockets that. He says, "Right. Anything else I could do for you?"
No, I mean, eventually, hopefully, get it on the enchanted side. This will be well made enough to one day get enchanted.
Of course. Come on.
Right.
What do you expect from me? It's a marble
I
mike
know.
craftsmanship.
I shouldn't have doubted at all.
No, that's alright. Yes, of course. If you ever find a way to get it enchanted, it will possess the. Actually, I'll do what I did for Sakado's helmet. Is I'll have my friend pre-ingrain some arcane marks so that if you ever get enchanted, they can be filled with magic. So they'll be there. They just won't be enchanted yet. So it'll be like a placeholder.
I'll just thank you.
Of course. Right. So that will be done day or two. Just, So I'll let you know. You can stop by. Or I'll just go to the, where are you staying? The Adventuring Guild, right?
Yes.
Whatever comes first. So I'll let you know.
All right, thank you. I appreciate this. Gonna help immensely.
Of course. Well, all right. He goes ahead and he pulls his shield back on, continues hammering away. Is there anything else you would like to do?
No, I'm a broke boy now.
Hey, I mean, you just got paid. Might as well spend it.
Yeah, got to. I need it. Only 16 AC, man. I need to at least move up one.
Ooh, shit. Was that all your gold?
16 AC. Ha, ha.
That was all of it. I'm
That was
zero.
Oh shit.
I'm legit like tapped out. Yeah.
There's no better feeling than spending all your money on like stuff that like is actually helpful, but it's not magic. It's just like actually useful. Like
Right.
no one ever really buys armor, I feel. So, all right. So, I guess that puts us with Sakado.
Right, so Sakado will probably be doing his own investigation into the whole Rune thing going on.
Okay. Make a larger investigation check, just for a general basis.
13.
13. You're kind of looking around. Are you doing this at day or at night?
Day for this one.
Okay. So you kind of look around. You spend a lot of time in shadier parts of villages and towns in your early days of escaping from the council. You kind of know, the lows and the highs of how cities function. You kind of hang around the little lower part of the city here, and occasionally you see people kind of stumbling a little bit more than they should, kind of falling, hitting the ground. They turn around and you can see that there's kind of like in their like on their like nose, like not like around, but like kind of there's like residue of like a green powder. There's not really a ring, so you deduce maybe a first-time user or someone who's not too well versed in it quite yet. You see as they kind of stumble, you kind of walk a little bit and they drop a bunch of it into like a grate. You can see like it just like spills out like in an alleyway down a drain pipe, and like they kind of like are trying to like dig it out with their hands, and eventually just like give up on it. As they kind of walk away, you could just see odd occurrences of shifty people making what you appear to be deals of some variety, whether it be drugs, weapons, potions, seedy things going on, which is not uncommon in any city that you go to. But that's kind of the extent to what you see. It's not as blatant. You only see maybe one or two people that are actually on it, but it's present for sure.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty much going to take up most of my week.
Okay. After a couple of days, you wait, and you remember, as it hits the 9th, you remember that was the day Avery told you she expected them to be arriving in Toragos. The 9th comes, the 9th passes, the 10th passes, on the 11th, kind of going about your day, walking through the city, looking around, keeping an eye on different things to see if you can spot more rune users. When, as you're walking, you feel this kind of twinge in your head. And you kind of, not flinch, but it's almost off-putting as you can hear a familiar voice in your head that says, "Hello, Melon. It's me, Avery. Me and your family have arrived in Taragos safely. They ship out in the morning with Captain Quinn and crew." And there's a slight pause. And then another string of messages comes through. "Once in Atara, they will be transported to the Daybreak Sanctum to stay under the watchful eye of Sun Warden Mistralith. Where shall we reconvene to talk?" And
Where
you
was
would
that
know,
last part?
when shall we reconvene to talk?
Okay.
And you get the familiar sense that this is similar to a spell that Scald could cast. So you know that you have, because it was two separate messages, you have 50 words to respond to what she had said to you. It doesn't have to be, we could approximate it, but it's got to be kind of a shorter response.
Okay.
And you know that she can't respond back to you.
Well, for now, it seems like we're staying in Snowcaster for a little while. So, maybe, depending on how long it takes for you to get back, Snowcaster?
You feel like the message has landed and found purchase. And a wave of comfort washes over you after knowing that your family is going to be safe, or at least far away in case things don't go in which the way one may plan. But is there anything else you would like to do as this day is kind of going onwards? That kind of happened midway through the day.
I just keep continuing my search for the day.
Okay. And eventually, as you're searching, kind of at the same time almost, you and Volstagg kind of don't bump into each other per se, but like kind of find yourself in the same seedy underparts of the town, kind of looking about. You could see Volstagg's like doing it very stealthily, weirdly enough. Like he's keeping a watchful eye. You can see his eyes moving and darting, but it's so like almost like undercover. Like he's so used to it. And he's just like in an element. And Volstagg, you quickly, out of the corner of your eye, see the visage of Sakura over in the corner somewhere. Make a perception check.
I'm also going to make a perception check.
Okay. 18. No. I mean, there's people around, but they're kind of doing their own thing. You know, there's a couple of people congregating and look like they're having like a picnic in like a patch of like dead grass. You can see that there's some kids out. Looks like they're playing like with some kind of ball that they're kicking around, but the ball is not a perfect sphere, so every time they kick it, it kind of like goes in a direction that they're not really expecting. It's just it's a place where people are living, so there's people around, but nobody's necessarily paying you too much mind, especially since you guys don't look like most of the rest of the people in the city. You don't look regal, you don't look you know, as fancy. You look like normal people like them, so nobody really pays you that much mind.
I'll just, kind of casually scroll up to Sakura. So, have you found anything leads? I've arranged a meeting today with a detective from the Thorn Guard who's been following the trade, or the drug trade.
Well, in terms of my own leads, all I've seen is shady deals, people maybe not using it constantly, but new people to it. It's clearly present.
Yes, I didn't realize how bad it was, but I've seen several with the green around their nose, passed out in alleys from the nights before. I haven't done any investigating at night, but I wanted to speak with you and Scald and the Thorn Guard before we got ourselves in too much trouble.
I mean, I was planning to conduct my own personal inquiries into the night scene of this place. I mean, I certainly have very useful items. I'll just, gesture to my boots, which can help a lot in this.
That will be useful. I want to make sure we're with the law on this one.
No vigilante.
Yes.
Fair.
Last time we played Vigilante, we ended up in a cell. Well, you ended up in a cell.
Well, we can't really say that was a vigilante, more of ambush.
True, but they saw it as Vigilante.
I guess. Fair.
But yes, I have a meeting later today with I believe it's Detective Nisu. I supposedly, it might be a different person, but
Do you think I'd be able to tag along?
of course, yes. I was hoping to get you and Scald. Show up in full force, show them that we mean not business, but we mean well. We're all involved in it.
Yes. Well, I guess we should go find Scald and inform him then.
I believe he was getting some armor made. Some armor? I think he was getting some armor made.
Oh, so it might be around fabrics then?
Good place to start.
All right. So as that's happening, Skull, you go ahead. After the couple of days, trek on over back to the Molten Menagerie to meet up with Thybrick, who is currently, it looks like he's in the process of tanning some leathers. For on the side, you can see that there is an armor set that looks to be kind of integrating metal with some leather straps. So it looks like he's currently in the process of getting that all ready to go. He's currently sitting down, turns over. I've been waiting for you. Weird. The armor's ready to go. Here it is. He hands it over to you, and it's the breastplate or the half plate that you requested with the insignia of what looks to be a radiant sun, kind of chiseled to look like church glass, like a mosaic, and a lightning bolt striking down into the center of it, kind of splitting it. Very intricate, very wonderful. And he says, I actually wasn't able to get a hold of my friend, so I did it myself. Hopefully it's to standard. Yeah, it's perfect. Here you go. If it's not too much to ask, could you, when you get a chance, maybe go check in on them? I've been knocking on their door, and they're not answering, so I'm just worried maybe they're sick. So if they need help, so I can I'm not the greatest at picking locks, and I know you got Sakuro, who's kind of more of a, if you can get in the house, if they're hurt and they need help, if you can break in gently, it's easier than me. I'll fucking break a door down, but I don't want to have to do that if I don't have to,
Yeah, of course.
If it's not too much to ask, I know you got your own things going on. I'm just, they're my friend, and I'm worried.
I'd be happy to help.
Appreciate
Dog.
that. Dog.
Dog.
Very good dog.
Very excited.
Yeah, and you can see just with your, your perception and stuff, there's a twinge of worry in Fabric's eye. It's not like stressful, but you can tell like, he's concerned, but genuinely like, if somebody can get in there without causing a scene, that would be more beneficial than him breaking a door down and then getting arrested and, so.
Of course. Yeah.
He kind of cups your hands. Thank you. I know I ask a lot of you guys, and you've already saved my life and all that, but just to help an old
Literally
dwarf's
my
mind.
Job to make sure it's dying.
It's not expedient. I have a feeling they're just sick. They're very stubborn in their ways. They don't like to accept help. So if they're sick, they're probably just fucking lying in bed trying to sweat a cold off. And just... So take your time, do your things for the day, and it'll all be good. And as he finishes saying that, you both turn around and you can see that approaching from down the street is Sakudo and Volstagg. He looks up, he says, "Oh, the gang's all here. Welcome, lads.
Hello?
Good to see you."
Yes, we just came to collect Scald. Seems we have something we can do.
Right, well,
Oh, yes.
have fun.
Arranged a meeting with Detective Nice, I believe, for the Rune problem.
Oh, okay. Yes. Well, thank you again. I will definitely be taking care of checking out your friend.
Appreciate that.
Wait, where exactly is he?
There. So he goes ahead. Fabric pulls out like a little parchment, takes out a little like piece of charcoal, and kind of does a couple of scribbles. Hands you a paper. That's their address. They live a little bit further down that way. Go past the library, take a right, and then it's a little bit further down. It's kind of a wooden house, kind of with a stone brick exterior on the top. So if you want, it's over there. However you feel best. If you'd rather just try to go through the front door, they do have a chimney. So if that's one way, sorry lads, you're probably really confused. If you could check on a friend of mine, they're not answering the door. I'm worried maybe they're sick and they need help, and they're pretty stubborn. So if they are sick, they're not going to answer the door, and they need help, and I just want to make sure they're alright. So however you feel best. I know, Sakudo, you're pretty stealthy. If you can pick the lock and get in that way, keep it under wraps. Maybe go through the chimney if you want. You're pretty slender. So however you feel, just try not to break something. If you do, I'll pay for it, but I just want to make sure they're safe,
So yes, of course. I'm not sure how long our meeting will last, but we can head there right after.
Take your time. I'm sure they're just being stubborn. They always are. But I appreciate it. So.
Alrighty.
So you guys head off back to the department, kind of pushing through the double doors. It's kind of weird to be back there for you, Sakudo, as the last time you were there, you weren't necessarily the welcomed type of individual. But as you walk in, Volstagg kind of leading the charge, you see Julia currently sitting at the table. Looks to be, it looks like she's currently like writing down something, but also like opening up a cabinet and like flipping through a couple of notes. She looks a little stressed, but when you work the front desk at a department for the Thorn Guards, it's not the most easy existence. She looks up, she's like, "Oh, yes. You're here to see Niso, right?"
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
If he's available.
Should be. 2 doors down the left side. There's a plaque on the door. You'll be good. She kind of goes back to like, kind of going through a couple of things, and as you guys are walking down the hallway, she goes, "Ah, there it is," and kind of looks to pull out a file. With your passive perception, it looks to be like a criminal record of somebody. Probably just finding it for one of the Thorn Guards. And eventually, you pull up to the door that was described, and you can see it says Detective Rolf Niso, and then it says Narcotics Division, and then head. So head of the Narcotics Division on the door.
I'll knock on the door.
Okay. Knock on the door, and you hear kind of like not like a stressed out, but like a hearty like, come in.
Alright, open the door, walk
Alright.
in.
You walk in and you can see it is this this halfling individual, kind of tall for a halfling, kind of pushing the 4 foot, almost about the size of a dwarf. Not particularly muscular, just a very like gentle physique, kind of a dark tan, like brownish skin. You can see that there is kind of like a mutton chop, not really a mutton chop, more just like really long sideburns that kind of stop before they become mutton chops. Really big bushy eyebrows, and this kind of like like shaved on the sides but kind of full on the top, and it's kind of like curling down a little bit. He's sitting in his desk. He looks up. Hey, you're the what does she call you? You're the guys that want to help with the rune stuff. Is that right?
Yes, we're the Lightbreakers. I'm Volstagg. This is Sakado, and this is Scald. We tried to stay on the right side of the law, but we got ourselves into a bit of a bind not too long ago.
Oh, I remember you. You're the guys that got into that situation at that temple, right? Got yourselves put in here.
We were ambushed and sorted it out in probably not the best manner, but.
So is this for your own general curiosities, or are you trying to make reparations for what happened?
A bit of both.
I appreciate the honesty. I'm honestly kind of impressed. You don't get a lot of people willingly volunteering to help out the law. So don't be offended if I find this a little odd, so to speak. It's quite unusual.
I can imagine so, yes.
Especially if somebody, looks at Sakado, just got arrested recently. It would be my best guess that you wouldn't want to set foot near a police department ever again. But I respect the haunches you got to actually give a shit about the situation going around here. If I might ask, why is this so important to you?
Well, we've met a lot of good people here. Well, we've been here for the last few months. Willowgin, the Woodvines, Thybrick, and they seem to love the city and enjoy it. And it's a bit of a shame to see so many of its citizens falling victim to this, so just kind of wanted to help out a bit, get right with the Thorn Guard.
That was pretty well said, actually. I'm actually, I didn't expect that from you. Right, well, honorable, admirable, and respectable. How rude of me. I'm Detective Rolf Niso, head of the Narcotics Division here. We've been investigating the Rune situation for quite some time, about 4 or 5 months. Very recent occurrence, but it traveled fast, spread quickly, and is increasingly becoming concerning with King Thorian. And he just put out an executive order stating that this was to become top priority. So I'm not gonna lie, the help would be greatly appreciated in this time. And I'm sure if the situation can be quelled, it would behoove you, one, not only getting in the good graces with the Thorn Guard, but getting in the good graces with our king. Now, that may not be why you're doing this. As it was stated, you're doing this for the people you care about, not necessarily for the kingdom as a whole, which, that's fair, I suppose. But the benefits that may come with it may exceed the reasoning for you doing this. So how exactly do you wish to help? Do you want to... I mean, we can't really grant you as much insider information as you'd probably want in this scenario, as that's classified, but I guess it really depends on what your MO is.
Well, we've done a bit of investigating, at least Sakado and I ourselves, so we've seen, the effects of some afflicted, so, I guess really all we need is pointed in the right direction of maybe someone higher up on the chain.
On the rune chain. It's hard. The reason why we haven't... Most drug usage has been quelled pretty quickly in the city. The city's not the poorest in the Empire, but, as you probably know, rich people do like to get frisky at certain times, and people who are rich tend to, get their way out of things. But this is different because we can't find the root of the problem. There's too many people on it who can't remember things that get themselves into trouble, and right now the priority is stopping people on Rune from committing crimes rather than actively searching for where the rune comes from. So it's difficult, and we don't know how far the chain goes because we don't know where the chain starts. And I guess maybe this is where you guys could be useful, I suppose. We're too caught up in making sure people don't get hurt, getting people into rehabs, making sure that it stops on that front, as that's what's really causing problems. People are getting their homes broken into, storefronts broken into, graffiti. That's more of a threat right now. So people like you could investigate the stuff that we can't.
Well, I mean, infiltration is certainly something I've done before.
I wouldn't admit that to my captain. But
Oh no, for good reasons.
yeah, of course. He gives you a smile. I'm fucking with you. You don't have to worry about that kind of shit with me. Yeah, I uphold the law, but also I know you got to break a couple laws to make things better, right? And that's not me admitting to crimes. It's just sometimes you got to do some things to help overall. So if you need to set up some things, that's, I mean, you're technically, whilst we'll say you work for me, you technically don't have to abide by some of the same rules that I would. I wouldn't recommend committing crimes to get your way out of things. And I'm not going to condone that, and I'm not going to recommend that or suggest that, but if you have methods to get yourselves in situations that maybe we can't get ourselves into, it's kind of hard to do undercover stuff in the city, as most people are trained to recognize the faces of us Thorn Guards. So if you have means of concealing yourself or assuming different forms, then, shit, if I could do that, I wouldn't be a cop. So, but...
Well, I can be a man of many faces, and I'll just go to the skies and change into... I'm not tiefling.
Huh. Alright, that's definitely going to come in handy. If you can get yourselves into a situation where undercover work is favorable, then go for it. If you're better off doing scouting missions, that's also good. And if you think that you're better off pulling something risky, like asking around to where you can buy it, if you want to put yourselves in that position, I will make sure to let everybody know that you currently have Thornguard authority, in the sense of, if you end up with Rune in your possession, we can vouch that it is on behalf of the Narcotics Division and not because you wanted it. I'll make sure to file that, put that on the record, so that you have some leeway in case you are accidentally part of a drug bust. So, be careful with that. But I'll make sure to file that report later tonight so that you at least have some ground on the backup. But that's fucking awesome. I'm gonna make sure that that makes it into the video somehow. That's fucking great. Oh man, I thought for sure Torchic posted that. Dun dun. In the criminal justice system. All right.
Bro, we need that sound effect.
I'll put it in at some point. But so yeah, he's kind of sitting there. Looks like he's you can see, especially Volstagg, you can see that it looks like he's on like his 8th cup of coffee today. As there's just a bunch of mugs just like strewn about. Right, okay, so this is a weird occurrence. Alright, is there anything else that you may need that could help you in this scenario? I think it would be more beneficial the least amount of evidential ties you have to the Thorn Guards. That way you have plausible deniability if people ask you if you're working for the feds. But if there's anything we can do to a certain degree, let me know. That way we can help best we can in this scenario.
So you're saying no potential leads at all?
We have a couple, but not enough to
This may
really...
help.
What'd you say?
You know a location where maybe the most people are found on it.
Yeah. The Scorns, which is the slums. The Scorns is where a lot of the break-ins occur. It's where a lot of the vandalism occurs. The one thing that just still like racks my brain is the effect that this damn thing has on people. It is absolutely absurd. Like it's not only a hallucinogen, but it's like most of the time when people take drugs that are I've been studying this shit for a long time, so sorry if I nerd out on you guys. But most hallucinogens usually incapacitate you to a point where you just fucking sit down, you stare at the ceiling, and you see kaleidoscopes of colors. This one, it makes people see things rather than just like images. Like people claim to see a lot of like demonic entities in their visage, and like a lot of just people. It manifests into persons most of the time, and the occasional purple elephant and green tiger. But people like it's like they have consciousness still. It's weird. It's not like they're just incapacitated. It's like everything's fine. They go on about like we saw somebody. Think about this. Somebody on drugs you don't necessarily think has a lot of good motor function, but we've caught people like breaking into stuff elaborately and then leading us on chases, and they're like jumping through like barriers, they're swinging on stuff like acrobatically, like instinctually. They're still cognizant. It's really odd. And then most of the time people just fucking pass out in the middle of the street. So there's two sides of a large spectrum. But if I was to give you the one lead we have, the best place to do whatever it is you decide you want to do, whether it be undercover, scouting, or purchasing, I would go to the Scorns. But I'd be careful, because there's a lot of shady shit that goes down in the Scorns, and if people look at you looking at stuff, they might suspect getting a little too close to what they're uncovering, and the last thing you want is to get too close to something and then find yourself in a jail cell that's not this one, because I promise you, you will not be treated very well in the jail cell of criminals. So take that with a grain of salt, but that's kind of my best advice. I've been doing this for 25 years, and I know that the one thing you don't want is to get caught. It's even worse than being caught by us. So, you've already experienced what it's like in our prison. Don't end up in one of theirs. That's my advice. So.
Well, his advice we will heed.
Well,
Thank you for your time,
of course.
your information. We will try to get some valuable intel for you.
I'll be your correspondent. Any information you got, just ask for Detective Niso, and I'll be your liaison for that, and then I'll report that to the higher ups. So, one more thing I'll say: don't fuck me over, please. I don't want to put my name on the line here. Just for you guys to go get yourselves into a bunch of shit. And my conscience won't heal easy if I hear that you guys died because of this. So, just know that this is your decision. I'm not sending you anywhere. I'm not putting you guys... This is all on you. I don't want to be held responsible for this shit if it goes south, okay?
Understood.
Okay. Don't die. And don't get yourselves into a situation that you can't get yourselves out of. Because we probably won't risk our lives to save you. Our men are more important than yours. Okay? Just want to make sure we know that. Alright. Well. Shoo. Go do whatever it is you wish to do. Rune Seekers? What's your name? Lightbreakers? Lightbreakers. I'll write that down. Alright, get. Alright.
Leave.
Where are you guys going now?
Probably to go check on. Yeah. Yes.
Probably around 6 o'clock, sun setting, I would say.
Okay.
Check on Thybrick's friend then.
Okay.
Yes.
You go ahead.
Yes.
As you're looking, Scald, you're currently the one in possession of the coordinates, the address.
Right.
You go ahead. You guys start heading that direction, and it's leading you into not necessarily the Scorns, but right around the outskirts of the Scorns, relatively close. It's a nice house as you're kind of looking at it. Like he said, it's a nice wooden house. There are windows, but you can see that on the interior there are curtains pulled shut, so you can't see inside. It is a brick roof with a brick chimney. Volstagg, immediately you notice there is nothing coming out of it. There is no plumes. And it's kind of hard to tell light source. One, because it's currently light outside and it's like that orange glow. It's kind of hard to tell, but also the curtains are like a black gray, so you can't really... Light's not going to pierce it as easily as maybe like a white cloth. But you are now presented with this house. So, what would you guys like to do?
I mean, I can go up and just bang on the door first.
Okay. Hit up just...
And just kind of... Oh, we were sent to check up on you. You here?
Okay. You knock, you wait a couple of seconds. Nothing.
No sounds.
Make a perception check.
Will? I'll just
13.
use
13? No.
perception. 23. Sorry.
Okay. You knock, you wait a second, you kind of listen in. Nothing. No movement. No crackling of a fire.
It was like the window situation.
So the window, they're glass windows. You can see in the front of each windows, there's like a little section where there are like little like flowers growing through, and there are currently curtains pulled, like these dark these dark black gray curtains that are currently blocking you from seeing inside of the house. You can walk a perimeter of the house. It's not like houses are pressed side to side and like in this like it's its own separate house. You know, you can walk around. There does appear to be a back door that you can see has a lock on it. The front door also, I mean, it didn't have a lock on it, but it appeared to be locked. But this one has a visible lock on the front that kind of like loops over and clicks in. And you can see, now that you've kind of reached the back of the house, so the front, like, it was kind of like these corridors and there were houses on each side. The back, though, you can see there is a little, like, alleyway situation where you can see that there looks to be all manners of, like, water systems, like aqueducts and stuff like that look to be flowing water through this part of the district. And what else would you see? That's about it. It's basically just kind of like a, you know, industrial kind of backyard area.
Does it look like we would be able to open any windows from the outside, or...?
Make an investigation check to kind of peer closer and to see.
16.
16. It does not look so. It's kind of hard because it looks like they open outward or so. So imagine you're in the house. They have handles that you would pull forward to open, and it looks like there is a piece of like metal that is latched. So you would have to open it and then open it to open the windows from the front. So pushing on it, you wouldn't be able to get in because they open outward.
Is there any sort of gappage in between the door and the floor that maybe a small insect would be able to fit through?
How small is your smallest form? Because let me see.
I mean, I can transform into a tiny beast, which is a scorpion. I can transform into a tiny lizard. I can transform into a tiny frog.
I would say, I mean, I'm using my own door right now that I'm looking at as like a visualizer, but normally doors that lead outside don't have a gap, if I'm mistaken. Right? If it was like interior, I would argue you could probably do so. But since it's leading to an outside area, I would say you probably wouldn't be able to squeeze under any of the doors.
What about windows? Any cracks in the windows?
I would say, after Sakudo investigating, there would be no cracks in the windows, but there is still the chimney.
Well, it's either the chimney or does someone get through this door?
I could probably shimmy my way down the chimney in some form, but I'd rather not to get filthy if you can pick one of these locks.
Well, it's been a while, but let's see if I've still got it in me.
Alright, which lock are you picking, the front door or the back door?
Back.
Okay. Go ahead, and do you have thieves' tools on you?
Good question. Yes, I do.
Okay, let me double check what thieves' tools do, because I forgot what's the, like, what do you add to it for it to work? I want to say it's Dex, but let me double check.
Proficiency bonus to any ability checks you make to disarm, trap, or open locks.
Thieves' tools. Okay,
So
this is a set of tools. Proficiency with these tools lets you add your proficiency bonus to any ability checks. So I would say this is sleight of hand plus your proficiency bonus,
I
because
thought lock picking was general dex.
let me see, D&D lock picking. I think you might be right. Picking a lock. Okay, yeah, you're right. So it's your dex plus your proficiency bonus. Thank you. You're correct.
Okay. Baby. Save it. 11.
11. You kind of, it's been a while, like you said, you kind of take the one part, kind of trying to find the purchase, kind of click, click. Okay, you get 2. You try to find that last third one, and you can't maneuver it quite to right. The lock is just a little too difficult. Just barely missed it.
Am I
I'll
able to
go
try again?
through the chimney.
You can try again, but you risk breaking your tools or the lock. And not breaking it in a good way, but breaking it to the point where a key would no longer unlock it.
Well, if we get in, we've got to come out some way.
Going again, or want me to?
Yep. Going again.
Okay.
Come on, baby. Ooh, that's what we like to see. 27.
Oh, yeah. So, I'll just be honest. The DC for the first one was 12. Because it's not that bad of a lock. But since you fucked with it, the DC did increase, but it only increased up to an 18. So, perfect enough. You go ahead and you get back to those first two little pins. And you kind of twist a little bit to the side, which allows you to kind of slip past the little piece that you kind of chipped on the inside. The door just slightly opens.
Ring.
All right. Are you guys trying to be stealthy about this?
We did just break into his house. But we are there to check up on him. I would definitely be going stealthy.
I'll have everybody make a stealth check for me. With
I will attempt to.
You have disadvantage.
Well, I mean, it's not like what I roll's gonna affect it too much. That's 22.
I got a 9.
Okay.
Let's see. I got an 8.
Okay. Sakura, you go. You open it. You're kind of stealthily walking in. You turn around like, all right, let's go. And you can see both Volstagg and Skull just like, okay, start walking through. You could hear the new armor of Skull kind of clanging a little bit, and you can hear Volstagg. I don't even know what would make noise on you because you're kind of wearing leathers.
I'm just big.
Yeah, you're just big. You
I'm
kind of
stomping.
kind of bump it because so the door is relatively small actually for like human normal size. So you actually kind of have to like squeeze through a little bit. You're too broad. It's good size, but you're just like you kind of have to like tuck in your shoulders a little bit. You kind of bump into it.
Oh shit.
What's your passive perception, Bryce?
Mine?
Yeah.
19.
19. So as you kind of hit and Skull kind of bumps in, you kind of like, oh shit, and you turn around, like out of the corner of your eye, you see movement over in that alley where the aqueduct system is. You barely caught it. You almost thought it was just like the wind.
Okay. I'll turn to it and I'll put my hand on my sword. I think we're being watched. I'll walk back out into the alley.
Okay. You go ahead and you walk back out. Are you doing so stealthily or are you just going for it?
Oh no, I'm just, hand on my sword, mighty presence.
Okay. You're walking through, kind of walking into the alley, sword in hand, or sword on hilt. You're walking through, and so the alleyway kind of, so it's like a wall, two walls, and then the alley that leads. You can see the water kind of trickling through. It looks like it continues to go through, almost like it's like there's like an overpass of some kind, where maybe there's, like a trolley system or something that used to be there at some point, maybe long abandoned. And you're kind of going through, and it looks to kind of, you can see it goes through, and on the other side you can see light, like there is another edge to the tunnel. And as you're walking by, you can see that there's like a side like exit that looks like maybe it goes deeper into like the systems of the aqueduct. And as you kind of pass that area, oh god, I don't know how I threw that. I don't know how that happened. That was cool. You kind of go through, and it kind of creates like this T intersection, right? It goes straight, or there's this little area. As you kind of cross that threshold, what's your AC?
16.
17. You feel a large piece of metal, tink, right across the back of your head. It doesn't knock you out or anything, but you just tink right on the back of your head, and you take 5 points of bludgeoning damage as crack. You like your vision goes wide as it hits you in the back of the head, and you turn. It's currently dark lit. You do have dark vision, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just in the dark, you only see shades of gray, I believe, with dark vision. But with the kind of orange light that's still peeking through as the sun still just hasn't quite set, you can see that standing there is a very skinny, young, half-elven man. You can see that there's very, very, like, terribly patchy beard work, probably due to his elven-human combination where he can grow facial hair, just not too good. You can see that he's got, like, raggedy hair. His clothes are kind of dirty. He's currently holding what looks to be a pipe from the water system that he just, like, ripped off the wall and was holding, and he's currently standing there, shaking, very weak, but got you by surprise, and is just currently standing there with the very faint light. You can see gentle rings of green around his nose as he's currently standing there, shaking, very frightened, and that's where we'll pick up next time.
Oh.
As you have just been clocked over the side of the head with a metal pipe. He just barely evaded. He rolled a 17 for stealth. Just barely evaded your passive. And then had advantage on the strike because he was technically hidden. Because you didn't see it coming. And so, yeah. So you guys have broken into a home and are currently face to face with a person who appears to be on Rune. A drug addict. But we'll see where that picks up next time. So thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for watching. We love you guys. We hope you're staying safe out there. Enjoy your squirt sticks, and we will see you guys next time. Peace.